Hello everyone and welcome to another Dwarfins tutorial. This one is on the Dwarfins LongHouse. This is a new feature as of version 3 and we think it is epically cool and awesome, and I think you'll think so too. So you might ask yourself, what is the LongHouse? Effectively, it's just a way to take your Dwarfins, whether they be live or birth rocks, and put them online, only online, so they don't take up any more of your prims in Second Life. You have the ability to work on them, mine them, birth them, return them even, rename them, whatever you want to do, and do it all from a web page. So anywhere you want to do, even at work if you're so inclined. Let's get right into this though and tell you how to do it. The new version 3 Dwarfins have a new menu option that includes LongHouse, and I'll show you that. So if I click the live here, LongHouse is in the upper left, and on the birth rock, it's right there in the upper middle. Clicking this will allow you to say yes, or I do want to send it to LongHouse, or no, I don't. If you hit no, no big deal. It'll return to the way it was before. We'll go ahead and send these two Dwarfins to the LongHouse. I'm going to rename them first, just for the purposes of this video, so you can see that yes, indeed, it did make it. So I'm going to say options, set name, and we're going to call this Video Dwarfin Guy. So he's been called that. And I'm going to rename the birth rock to Video Rock Girl. Alright, let's get these sent up to the LongHouse from Second Life. So let's click the live Dwarfin here. I'm going to click LongHouse. Yes, I do. And boom, he's off and away. Same thing with the birth rock. LongHouse. Yes, I do. And they're off and away. So switch over now to a web page. And this is the Dwarfins homepage. If you have not logged in yet, go ahead and do so. You'll see your login at the upper right here. And we'll just click Player Links and My LongHouse. And from here, this is the basic layout. You might think, well, this looks really empty. What it's asking you first is to choose a category. So I'm going to go ahead and click All. That looks a little better, doesn't it? So we see all of the Dwarfins that are currently in our LongHouse. I'm going to be referring to these as cards because to me they look like cards, and I've gotten into the habit of calling them that. So we'll just refer to them as cards from here forth. If we were to scroll down here, you'll notice there's Video Rock Girl and Video Dwarfin Guy. They both made it into the LongHouse. So let's go over what we can do with them. As I showed you, I picked all. That shows you all the Dwarfins in your LongHouse. You can subdivide those or filter them, if you will, by clicking some of these other buttons. This is just the males or just the females. Show me ones that have been partnered already, or just give me the birth rocks. It's a pretty limited set of filters, and we understood that there will be actually need for more. So just recently released, we gave the ability to assign Dwarfins in the LongHouse to custom categories. I'll go more into detail on this throughout the video, but just to get you started here, this little icon here excuse me, lets you see all the available categories that are user defined or for you only, basically. And there's 10 of them, and they each have their own custom icon, and the icon has its own custom color for ease of viewing. So if I were to say pick category 6, I had one card assigned to category 6. Now you notice that was a little heart icon. Over here on the card, the little heart icon, same color, same icon, and if you hover over it, it gives you the category name. But those are kind of bland, and that doesn't really tell you much. What would be really best is if you could rename these. Well, you can. This little icon here, go ahead and click that, and we'll just call this My New Category, and click OK. It tells you the category is renamed, but the page will need to be reloaded. It's that fast. So there we are, My New Category. So this could be anything you want it to be. A lot of folks are saying, well, I want this to be my Tavern Master category or my Dragon Tame Riders or what have you. So it's really up to you on how you want to do it. I might put starter birth rocks in one category and non-starter rocks in another. The sky is the limit. It's really up to you to define what you want to make those categories into. Moving right along, we have the toolbar here, and if you haven't picked a category, it looks pretty empty. Let me go ahead and click All. So we see more in the toolbar here, in this brown toolbar, and let's start from left to right. this is the number of online meals. Online meals are a new addition to version 3 as well. Basically, to get an online meal, you go to our sim, find the vendor, purchase online meals. It's that easy. They'll show up in here at that point, and you'll also see them up in your login right there. So these should always match. The other way is to go to your pantry, and I'll just do that real quick. By the way, there isn't a whole nother video on online meals if you want to watch that, but I'll just give you a quick rundown. I'm in my pantry now. Here's an ingredient. I'll click deliver. Send to online meals is a new option. So that's 40 meals there. I'm adding to 32. 72 meals should now be in my online meals. And you can do this with recipes as well. So let's go back to the LongHouse. And you'll notice it's now updated to 72 in both places. Click all again. So moving on. This little dwarfin silhouette is how many dwarfins you have in the LongHouse. There are two numbers here. The first is how many you're currently viewing. I clicked all, so I'm viewing all 21. The second number is the total number in the LongHouse. So if I were to click Birth Rocks, I'm now viewing just 6 out of the 21. So that's what that number means. We offer a search here. This is searching by the name of the dwarfin. So if I wanted to search for character test here, the second card, I just have to type 3 letters to get started, CHA, and there he is. Back out, do another one. Mr. Duplicate there in the bottom left, Mr. with a space. And we also had a Mr. Boy, so it brought up 2. This X icon just clears your search for you. Folks mentioned that we'd like to be able to search the traits in the dwarfin. What if I wanted to see all wayfarers, or any dwarfin that has a wayfarer trait? Doesn't matter which slot it's in, I want to see wayfarer. So I'm going to click this little checkbox here to include trait name in search. W-A-Y for wayfarer, and there we are. Anybody who has a wayfarer trait in them anywhere is going to show up in this result list. Clear that search. The next little button here is the sorting options. So just a left click on that and we have a bunch of them. So if I want to see, say for instance, give me all dwarfins with their name, but do it in descending order. It starts with V, it's closer to Z, so it goes from V to A. And that's pretty self-explanatory. So we offer age and hunger, partner status, mining level, so on. By default, the sorting you're going to see is dwarfin ID, small to large. So you know. So moving on, that's the toolbar. Let's get into the cards here, the dwarfins themselves. The top of each card is the dwarfin's name. You can click that name and rename your dwarfin. You can click the X if you didn't mean to do so, or click the check mark to make it final. You'll see the page will reload, and there's Sparky renamed. Going forward, obvious stats that you see in SL on your dwarfins are going to be here as well. The ID number, the gender. If you have assigned a category to a dwarfin, it's going to show up right there as we mentioned. Here's the energy and the hunger. These are listed in here in the LongHouse as progress bars, but if you hover the mouse over it, as you can see, you get the actual percentage that you might be looking for. Moving on, age is there as well as its gold. If this dwarfin was birthed from 2 other dwarfins and not a starter, you're going to see a line here that gives you the father and mother ID numbers. You can click those and jump out to the dwarfin information page that you probably have been to before to see all the stats about that dwarfin. Also, if they've been partnered, there's going to be a line here that says partner and then the name of the partner. So this one is partnered to character test, which is this one right here. And then finally the mining level of what they're currently at. Mining level is again one of the sorting options, so you might want to see, give me all my lowest level miners first and then I'll work on mining them. Below that, all the stats that you're again also probably used to seeing. And then we'll move into what I call the action buttons area. The first button is a hard. It's either going to be one with a crack through it or a solid hard. If it has a crack through it, it means that it's partnered, and you would click this to unpartner it. And vice versa, if you want to partner it, you find the one with a full heart and click that. So let's walk through that first. Excuse me. Clicking that will give you this pop-up here, and the point here is to drag and drop a male and a female dwarfin into this box. This box will travel with you as you scroll, so you don't have to worry about, well, I wanted the guy at the bottom and I don't have to drag him all the way to the top. It will go with you. So just find the ones you're interested in partnering. So I will pick, say, this one here, and this female here. All you have to do here is click on anywhere on the card. It doesn't matter where. And left click and hold it and drag it. And you see here we have a little helper that's telling you which one you grabbed. That matches this card. I'm going to drag it right into that partner box, and I'm going to pick the female and drag them in. Once you let go, the confirmation box says, are you sure you want to do this? Let's hit cancel. You'll notice that I have dropped them in there and the cards have become halfway opaque. And that just lets you know that these two are the ones that I've drug in here. You can take them out of here if you got the wrong one, say, by clicking this X. And you'll notice that was the one that went back to fully visible. But let's say we want to do this. Yes, I want to partner these two. And it will reload real quick. It says in the upper right, Dwarfin successfully partnered. You can notice now their icons are now the broken heart. So let's go ahead and unpartner them now. Are you sure you want to clear it? Yes, I do. And there we go. Dwarfin successfully cleared of partner. Moving on, the next icon is this up arrow. And this is the return to Andronicus. I don't want to do it to that one up top, but let's find another one here. This one looks fine. I'll left click that, you get the confirmation. Are you sure you want to return this? This is just like in World where you have to type return and whatnot, but you don't type return here. This is a permanent action, so don't do this if you don't want to lose that Dwarfin, because once you do, you can't get it back. I'll go ahead and return them. There was 10 gold on that Dwarfin. It was added to my account. And it's letting me know here to see the updated gold amounts, you're going to have to refresh the page, and that is right here is what I'm referring to. We'll have to refresh the page. So if I do so, 360 went to 370. Going forward, the next icon is a little mining pick, and if we click that, we get a new window here. You remember in SL there's a mine to zero button and a regular just mine at once button. This is the same setup. The double mining picks is mine to zero and the single is mine once. So let's just mine once real quick. And that fast you get back the results of your mining operations. I've mined up a brick fireplace blueprint. Let's hit mine to zero. It's going to be a little slower, and you notice the buttons went away and it's got a little spinning icon here to think about it. Please let that finish. If you refresh the page or get out, it's still going to do what it's doing. You're going to lose all your energy, but you're not going to see the results of your mining. So you want to be patient and let that come up. It's generally not very long though. So you can see he went through all the energy and got up all the items, nails, shingles, blueprints, whatnot. So very cool. Clicking the X here will get rid of this window. And you'll notice while this bar of energy was full before, it is now empty, 0%. This next icon is either a double hand icon or a red X. And what this means is mating turned on or is mating turned off? If it's a red X, this card will not mate. Mating is turned off. To turn it back on, simply click it. And now the double hands means mating is on, and you can click it to change as much as you need to. By default, Dwarfins will be brought into the Longhouse, and if you birth one in the Longhouse, by default, both of those situations, mating is going to be on. So if you want to reserve them for mining duties or whatnot, you need to come through and click them to turn mating off. You will notice in some situations where it is a birth Dwarfin, but you don't have these mating and partnering buttons. This one here is a good example. And what that means is, well, they're too old. They can't mate. So those buttons are no longer there. We saw that this one here had a category on it, and you're going, okay, cool, but how do I get categories in here? Well, that's the last button here on the action button bar. Left click that, and you see all the options to assign to, including the one that I renamed to my new category. So let's do that. So you can write over an existing category, or you can create one where one has not been before. Let's give him the ale mug. And there you go. Again, hovering over it gives you the category name. So if I were to come back up here and say, well, I just put him in the ale mug category, show me all the ones in the ale mug category. And there he is. We've covered everything about live Dwarfins. Excuse me, let's go to birth rocks. Birth rocks have one button I haven't covered. They do have the return, as you saw before, in the categories. You can assign categories to birth rocks. But they have this little birthday cake, and that is simply to birth your Dwarfin. So Miss Girl here, I'm going to go ahead and birth Miss Girl. Yes, I do. Oh, where did she go? Well, if you notice, I'm still in the birth rocks category now that she's birthed. She doesn't apply to this category, so poof, she's gone. But if we went over to the all category, Miss Girl should be there as well. I can find her. Oh, right there, Miss Girl. She's now birthed. She's now age 0 because she's freshly birthed, and she has all the icons that the live Dwarfins do. So let's see, I think I've covered everything there is to know about the web page. Let's say this is all neat, and I've done a lot of work in here. I want to get my Dwarfins that I put in here out of the Longhouse and back into Second Life. How do I do that? Take note of their ID numbers, 420, 281, 420, 282, or whatever it is in your case. I'm going to go ahead and copy these to make life easier. This is the Dwarfins LongHouse portal. These are free at our sim. And you just pick one up, put it down on the ground, and you get started by left-clicking it. And you'll see it says waiting for ID. It tells you the same thing down here in the bottom. So I'm going to paste in what I copied off the web page. And this should bring up our video girl birth rock. Video rock girl, there she is. So I knew that the male was just one number off that, so oh, it's still thinking. This is a good point. I just drug it off to the side here. Best way to do this is to find it in your recent say and put it out, but you don't have to. You can drag it around to where you need it to go. So that one's done. Let's get the live Dwarfin back in. I've just clicked again just to start it over, and I know he was 282. And here he comes. Let's just spin him around for the camera. And there we go. He's back in world and ready to have fun with. So that's all there is to know about the Longhouse. We hope you enjoyed this video, and happy dwarfineering, and keep on having fun with these guys. We thank you for your participation, and have a great day.